Okay, guys, and welcome back to the America 737 project. And today we're gonna be doing a full flight with everything from flight planning to setting up the flight computer, the FMS, and a call on dark start, plus the flight, of course. So we're probably gonna be doing this in 3 separate videos. So this would be the first one with flight planning, and we're gonna be doing a trip from St. Pete Clearwater Airport in the Tampa Bay area, and we're gonna be going down to Key West International. So for flight planning, I'm using the online free tool called SimBrief. That's what I like to use to get my flight release, and it's very close to the real thing. In this case, I'm using it with a pay subscription to the NavData from Navigraph, and I'm using the cycle 1805, which is the current one, up until May 23rd, 2018. And as you can see, today is the 22nd. So we're May 22nd, 2018, means this cycle data it's still valid for one more date. The good thing is when you purchase Navigraph, it's actually cheap. Navigraph's subscription is just around $30 a year, and the good thing with that is it'll automatically install for any flight simulator software that you may have. I wouldn't like to say actually any, but for the most part, most of it will be there. In this case, I'm using it for both Explain and SimBrief. So SimBrief will come in by default with a free NavData, which I think it's from 2017. And again, for overall, you can still use that one. But if you do have an account with Navigraph, it'll let you log into it from your SimBrief site from your SimBrief account, and that way you can sync your current cycle data. Anyway, so we have confirmed cycle 1805. It's still current, so we can go ahead and use that. We're gonna go to our dispatch system, and we can either create a new flight, view a safe flight, edit last flight, or view last flight. I actually already run this route before, so I'm gonna go to the view safe flights, but it's not any different than creating a new one. It'll bring you to this screen, and in this case, I don't have it as saved, but it's in the dispatch history here. Sun Country Flight 824 from Pi to Key West on November American 737 project, right? Alpha 737 Papa. And let's go ahead and load that one. But if you were to create a new flight, it'll still bring you to this exact same screen. The only difference is that the fields will be empty, and you just get to choose whatever route and then whatever A-frame. Once you choose your route from where to where, your alternate or whatever it is that you might need, and your airframe, it will auto-populate the aircraft options, which in this case are loaded for this tail number, and then it will give you all the calculated data and the option to select your route here. It will give you suggested routes, and you can choose whatever from this. I'm using the first one. Then you will analyze the route to make sure that it's compatible with your cycle for the NavData, and then you will get your flight release. So in this case, for this flight plan, only thing I've got to change is my departure time, because it's different as to what I was trying to do last time. So it's currently 1536Z, and because we're going to be doing tutorials, I know I'm going to take extra time. So let's put departure time for an hour from now. So let's go ahead and move that departure time to 1635 we can do. So 16 1635Z. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and analyze the route. And it says valid for ARAC 1805, which is our current cycle. Calculated about 220 nautical miles. And just going back here to the details, we're going to have estimated time en route 1 hour and 15 minutes. Departure out of runway 18. Arrival out of runway 09 into runway 09. Taxi time out is going to be 10 minutes. In, it's going to be 8 minutes. Extra fuel is going to be about 500 pounds. Just to round up numbers up. Passenger 110, no cargo, 0 fuel weight, and everything else auto. And we're going to go ahead and click on generate. And that's going to give us our flight release. This is our route here. And I'm using it with ForeFlight, which I'm going to go ahead and show you guys. Okay, that screen is ForeFlight. Excuse me. And as you can see, our route looks pretty similar to what I've got loaded here in ForeFlight. And if I go to flight plan, you can see what the route looks like on ForeFlight. It's pretty similar to what we have here. We're going pretty much almost direct from Pi to the Syracuse VOR, then through Victor 579 direct to RSW, which, let me see, what was that? What's the name of that VOR here? Lee County. And what's the airport? Fort Myer. Okay. So RSW, and down from there we're pretty much going all the way down on Victor 225 to Echo Yankee Whiskey, which is the VOR for Key West. Now in this case, I run this the one time, so these intersection points that you're seeing here loaded on my iPad before going direct to Key West, it's actually already the way the approach is for runway 09, which is what we're expecting into Key West. And as you can see here, it start here on Sitting, Sheds, Atna, and to the initial approach for runway 09. Once we're en route, we'll go ahead and load the chart here so we can mix the chart with the map, and it'll make a little bit more sense. If we go to the Navlog here, you can see that ForeFlight, it's a great tool. It'll give you all your remaining distance, all of your courses, and estimated time for each leg. So that's a good thing to have here. Comes in pretty handy. You can go into the profile view, and the profile view will give you all your airspace. As you can see, of course, we were estimating flight level 250 last time. I actually have to check that when the release comes in based on the current winds. But anyway, with any route like that, we're going to be clear of all the airspace except for a restricted area here, which we would have to check. But other than that, we're pretty good. Let's go ahead and check how the weather is looking like here on ForeFlight first. Again, I'm combining SimBrief with ForeFlight, which is the tool that I use for real life flight. And I definitely do recommend using that for flight sim as well. It enhanced the whole experience quite a bit. As we can see here, we have little cells nearby Key West. Nothing too big on this side, but we do have bigger cells here on the right side. I think for our miss approach, we're gonna stay within this middle area here, so we still should be clear of the weather. Let's see, what else do we have en route? Everything is to, well, actually the left side, because we're gonna be flying south. So everything's gonna be to our left hand side once we are airborne. Okay, let me see the closest thing we might have. We've got some little cells here. I don't think that's gonna be any issues at all. Closer to Fort Myers. Some other cells here on the left side. And we have another cell with somewhat more activity as soon as we get out of St. Pete, but we're gonna steer clear of that. We're taking off runway 18, so we're already gonna be heading in this direction, and we just gotta make sure that we stay clear of that. But nothing to be really concerned on our route today. I don't see any. Let me see, we've got TFR here. And that's just airspace. No, it's a TFR, which for some reason is not. There you go. Let's see what's going on with this TFR. It's for a baseball game. As you can see, we're right above the stadium. Boston Red Sox and the Tampa Bay Rays are playing. Major League Baseball location, St. Petersburg, Florida. Start time, it's May 22nd at 1910 East daytime. So it started 1910, and that's on local time for East Coast daylight time. So 1910, we're very good with that. We don't have any issues with it, so it's not going to be a concern for our takeoff. On a return leg, if it were to be later on down the day, then we could be concerned, because that's starting within the next it's actually within the next 7 through 8 hours that we should be concerned. So it's really not going to be a big deal at all for our flight. So we can go ahead and disregard that TFR. But as you can see, it's a great tool to have this on for flight, because you can read all the event details and you know when the TFR is going to be active. And that way you don't get in trouble. You don't bust any airspace. So I don't see any more restrictions on our airspace for the remaining of the route. We can go ahead and jump right back into our flight planning. And excuse me, guys. And let's go ahead and get that flight release. Okay, so as you can see, it's getting NOTAMs, maps, and everything we might need for that route. Okay, so Sun Country Flight 824 Boeing 738, 738, which is a 737-800. This one is the winglets model. We're going from Pi to E Yankee Whiskey. Alternate is Miami, and it's recommending today flight level 170. I'm surprised that we're going that low, but that's what it's suggested. I'm guessing based on winds. So we'll check. We'll see about that. So airtime 52, extra fuel 500 pounds, block fuel factor, or route, no remarks. So here we get all of our weights and number, which I'm gonna go ahead and check that real quick. Okay, let me see what we've got here, guys. Let's check out the planned fuel. Our minimum takeoff fuel is 11.7. And I kind of want to do some extra fuel on top of that, just to be on the safe side because of the weather. If we were to shoot out a miss approach, and the weather on the Miami area, it's okay on Miami area itself. Some of the surrounding en route to our alternate might have some weather as well. Only en route, so I'll go to about an extra 5 on top of that. So let's go to 12.2 today, and let's see what else. Let's see what else we have here. Again, block time an hour 10 minutes. Payload 25.3 passengers. That's 110 passengers. It'll bring our zero fuel weight to 117.2, and plus the fuel, which 11.7. That's 128.7. But if we do 12.2, we're closer to 129, 129.1, somewhere in that area. So now we've got this, we can go ahead and export this into our aircraft computer, and that way we can create a company route, which if we download it to FMS, we just click here and we're going to manually download them. Okay, so you just go ahead and select your simulator software. In this case, we're doing just the X-Plane, not XFMC, because that's a plugin. So we're doing just X-Plane. File format's going to be .fms, and it's going to download this file, which by default it comes in with your 2 airport names. So Pi to Key West, and then the name 01.fms. I have already downloaded this exact same route before, so I'm not going to do that right now, but I am going to go ahead and show you guys where I put this file. So once you download it, you have to move it into your flight sim folder. In this case, we're on X-Plane. We're on our X-Plane directory. And I think it was on output or resources. So output. Okay. So X-Plane, output, FMS plans, and as you can see, I have 2 here. The one that I'm going to be using, I modified. I deleted the kilo in front here just to make it shorter for easier entries. So Pi to Key West number 1.fms. That's the file that our flight simulator is going to be able to read. So let's go ahead and stop the video for now here. This will be everything for our initial flight planning, and I will see you guys on the next video right after this one, which is going to be our cold and dark setup and our FMS setup from this flight planning. So stay tuned, guys. Go ahead and keep on to the next video. We'll see you guys doing this cold and dark and FMS setup. Thank you, guys.